As we all know, 6 individuals tragically lost their lives when the Francis Scott King Bridge collapsed last week.
Ah, yes, the Francis Scott King Bridge. They were originally going to name it the Martin Luther King Bridge, but then they made the Francis Scott. It's morphing away from Francis Scott Key into the Martin Luther King Bridge. When did the Democrat Party become the pro-jihad, pro-Hamas, pro-ISIS, pro-Al-Qaeda, pro-Ayatollah party? We don't want the Ayatollahs. We want the Iranian people. You know, the Green Revolution. Remember the Green Revolution was going on in Iran, and Barack Obama did nothing, and women were being murdered in the streets, and Barack Obama then sent them money, sent them plane loads of cash. Barack Obama is not on our side. Joe Biden is a sock puppet who hangs out of the back pocket of Barack Obama. But the Democrat Party, and it's complete madness. Everywhere you look, Biden issues warning to Israel, front page of the Washington Post, could reassess its policy. You see, because the Biden White House is threatening Israel and threatening Netanyahu and not pounding the table and saying to Hamas, release the hostages. But instead, we have big ships en route to the Eastern Mediterranean right now, where we will gratis at taxpayer expense because, you know, we've got all the money in the world and we're not $34 trillion in debt. Oh, well, wait a minute. None of that is true. And Joe Biden is going to build a pier, a port facility for the terrorist organization known as Hamas. Now, I want to share with you a development. There is a young man, Mossab Hassan Youssef, who is also known as the Green Prince, the green being the color of Islam. And Mossab Hassan Youssef is the son of an infamous and notorious Hamas founder, one of the founding fathers of Hamas. So a murderer whose name is Sheikh Hassan Youssef, and his son, Mossab Hassan Youssef, has had enough of all of this madness. And Mossab Hassan Youssef went on the Dr. Phil show. Who knew that Dr. Phil had a show? He's still got a show? That's remarkable. Dr. Phil had a show, did an interview with Mossab Hassan Youssef and his father, founder of Hamas, which is a radical Islamic terrorist group that is genocidal in its hatred of the Jews. And it's kind of a fascinating interview for a number of reasons. And I want to play a little bit of it for you because he tells the truth, interestingly enough, about Hamas and the Palestinian people, which is not really an ethnic group at all. But never mind that. Everything's a lie when it comes to, you know, the jihadis and their Democrat supporters in the United States. But remarkable stuff. And also, they had 2 women there who are pro-jihad, anti-Semites, pro-Hamas. And they were sitting there on the set when the man, and they seemed a little hesitant to jump in because they're women and he's a man. But never mind all that. The exchange was quite fascinating because the Green Prince told some truths that Democrats don't want to hear and jihadis don't want to hear, but I repeat myself, honestly. So here is Mossab Hassan Youssef, son of Hamas founder Sheikh Hassan Youssef, talking to Dr. Phil with 2 pro-Palestinian activists on the set. And a remarkable moment in, well, you know, the education of the American liberal, which I think is an impossible dream. But nevertheless, it sounded like this.
It does not end there. Now we have the problem with the pro-Palestine who are actually giving Hamas cover. They are participants in the crime. In fact, since October 7, I personally don't differentiate between Hamas and what's so-called Palestinians. Because actually there is no Palestinians. There are tribes. There is the tribe of Hamas and there is the tribe of the Islamic Jihad.
Now, wait a minute. He's Palestinian. His father is one of the founder of Hamas. He, since October 7th, the massacre of October 7th, the largest massacre of Jews since World War II, since the Socialist Workers' Party of Adolf Hitler was put to rest, in part with the help of my dear departed father. But setting that aside, He said he does not differentiate between Hamas and the Palestinian people since October 7th. But if I said that, then liberals would call me a terrible racist. They call everybody racist, and then they kill 40% of the black population because, they're ridiculous people. But never mind that. And he says he doesn't differentiate, and that, listen, the Palestinian people, there really is no Palestinian people, making quotation marks with my fingers, if not his. There are tribes. You've got Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad and these factions. And if it weren't for Israel, they'd all be at war with each other.
Each one has different interests, and all of them are conflicted. If they did not have Israel as the common enemy, they would kill each other. This is the reality of what's so-called Palestine.
Rhetoric?
You don't know
common
what
colonial
Palestine
rhetoric
is. Actually, in fact, the keffiyeh that you are wearing, this is just a statement to show that you really lack the authenticity to represent the case. And what's so-called the cause, this is a human problem.
So the
cause must die. I think enough is enough.
Enough is enough. One of the pro-Hamas women said, you're using colonial rhetoric. Yeah. You know what else is using colonial rhetoric? The electrical grid. Clean water supply. You guys could use a lot more colonialism. The problem with colonialism in the Middle East is that it ended. Honestly. And this woman, they have these two pro-Hamas women on wearing their keffiyehs and interrupting him and looking all surprised and stuff. And this woman, Zainab is just these people are completely ridiculous. But the Democrat Party is with the Hamas people. They are not on the side of civilization anymore. They're on the side of the lunacy. Palestinian activist woman interrupting there goes by the name Zainab, Zaynab. She's like the Cher, just one name. It's not she doesn't need two names, just needs the one name. And so she's Zainab, and you're using colonial rhetoric. Yeah, Palestinians are using colonial electricity. It continued.
And now it's proven, and you are helping Hamas to prove it to the world.
Of course.
That Palestine depends on the destruction of the state of Israel. And this is not acceptable, and we are not going to agree to it. And I tell you something, for the next 10 or 20 years, the Palestinian people will pay the bill that Hamas is caused today.
That is a fact, Jack. He's telling the truth. And that means his life is in danger. Truthfully, that means that his life is in danger. Mossab Hassan Youssef.
To you, Hamas and Palestinians are the same. They're one and the same.
After October 7, yes, there is no difference.
Really?
The vast majority of the Palestinian people support Hamas.
Really?
This is a fact. This is proven by statistics, and your silence now. You cannot even condemn Hamas and say that what they did on October 7 was an act of a savage group.
The vast majority of Palestinians, so-called, support Hamas. You, Zainab, can't even condemn Hamas, the genocidal gang of blood-sopped rapists. You're on their side. You're a useful idiot for the death cult, the genocidal death cult. This guy, he might not drink beer, but I'll buy him a beer.
You only speak on the authority of Hamas propaganda.
No, why do you say that I'm speaking on the authority of Hamas propaganda?
Because if you were a decent human being, you can say that the thousands were killed on October 7. That was a crime against humanity. It was a genocide.
Yay! All right, good for him, and good for, I've never said this before, good for Dr. Phil. Never said that before. That is just great. Now, Zainab is sitting there looking shocked. Oh, no, you can't say that. And she sounds like maybe she's from Indiana or something, and she might be just a liberal from a Democrat family. She doesn't even sound like a Palestinian herself, but Never mind any of that, because, the Democrat Party is producing millions of these people. But he's right. Obviously, he knows. He comes from a leading Hamas family. A leading Hamas family. Yeah, that's right. And again, the Biden administration now threatening Netanyahu and Israel, and saying that they're going to cease, halt, redirect support for Israel because Israel's too busy defending itself. And that can't be allowed because the Democrat Party is pro-Hamas. Now, pretty amazing stuff. Let's go to soundbite number 15. Number 15. Is that where I'm going, Mike? Yeah, because that's the Q&A yesterday at the White House. Peter Doocy talking to Cringe, who had some...
Cobble Kirby.
Oh, I apologize. This is Cobble Kirby. This is John, a.k.a. Cobble Kirby, at the podium at the White House yesterday. And Peter Doocy, the White House announced to the press that Joe Biden had a phone call with Netanyahu, and he threatened Netanyahu. But he did not demand the release of the hostages by Hamas or demand that Hamas turn over their leadership to be tried for war crimes and crimes against humanity. He didn't do that because he's a coward and he's spineless, and he is the wrong man for the job of President of the United States at this moment in history, or any other moment for that matter. He does not stand up for civilization, for Western civilization, for the United States. I found a funny story in the Washington Post attacking Donald Trump. They're afraid of Trump. Yeah, because they're afraid Trump might make them pay more money into the common defense and make NATO stronger. And the cowards and the spineless wimps in our NATO allies who don't pay their fair share can quite politely jam it. Cram it, clown. It's an old Bozo the Clown reference there. Peter Doocy and Cobble Kirby yesterday.
On October 7th, President Biden said, "My administration's support for Israel's security is rock solid and unwavering." That is not true anymore, correct?
No, it is true. Still true today.
How is his support unwavering, but you're also reconsidering policy choices?
Both can be true.
They cannot be true. They're completely different things.
No. I'm sorry.
He is wavering.
No, come on.
How is he not wavering?
Come on now.
Come on, we can have it both ways.
And as it says in that readout, we made clear, and he made it clear to the Prime Minister in his call, that our support for Israel's self-defense remains ironclad.
It's ironclad, but it's unwavering, except we're threatening to put... Now, there's this mock saying, I talked about this on my TV show on Newsmax about a week ago, because the liberal at the table twice said, you can't have it both ways. And I said, we got to ban the phrase, you can't have it both ways, because in Washington, the Democrats certainly have it both ways every day. We're wavering and we're unwavering. We're threatening Israel and we're supporting Israel. They talk out of both sides of their mouths at the same time, and that's why Cobble Kirby is there, because he's better at it than Cringe, talking out of both sides of his mouth at the same time, saying two conflicting things at the same time. And when you're a Democrat, and you notice the rest of the press doesn't jump in like a gang of locusts as they did at every Trump-era press conference. They sit there smirking and smiling. Oh, don't worry, we're not going to ask any. We're not going to point out that you're hypocrites, that you're lying, that's impossible. We'll just leave it to one or two people in the room. And then we're going to vote for you. See you at Martha's Vineyard this summer. How are the kids? Going to Sidwell Friends with my kids. Washington, Circle Fest in a hot tub, the Democrat Party and the media. It's fascism. The marriage of the state and the corporate world. Did you know that Eden Pure is having their famous BOGO deal right now on the Eden Pure Thunderstorm air purifiers? When you buy one Thunderstorm, you get one for free. No matter how many you buy, you get an equal number for free. You buy two, you get two for free. You buy 11, you get 11 for free. The Thunderstorm will help completely eliminate any odor, even the worst odors like, pets and cigarette smoke and litter boxes and your mother-in-law's cooking. The O3 molecules seek out and destroy the odors even behind and underneath furniture. Nothing can hide from the thunderstorm, and right now, well, it's the time to order. Eden Pure's buy one, get one free sale is only for a limited time, so don't wait. With thousands of 5-star reviews online, you know it works like a champ. We've got 2 of them in my house. People love them. You know, buying several for around the house, give them as gifts. You might have that uncle needs a little hint. You know, your teenager, your college kid. Just go to EdenPureDeals.com and use the discount code ChrisBogo. Chris, buy one, get one. That's EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is ChrisBogo. Yes, sir. Yeah, Cobble Kirby. No, we threatened them and we didn't tell Hamas to do anything. We would never lecture them. We just wag our fingers at the Jews and threaten them. But we still support them completely. Sure. 2 opposing thoughts existing in the same space at the same time. When you're a Democrat, the entire press corps sits on their hands and doesn't say a thing about it. Hey, it's Chris Plant, excited to tell you about our July 2024 Listener Sea Cruise. We'll be sailing around the British Isles, visiting Scotland and Ireland. Please join us. Visit ChrisPlantCruise.com. The radical left-wing group, it's a gay group, right? Code Pink. It's a lesbian group. I think everybody loves lesbians. Code Pink's Ann Wright, Medea Benjamin, and hundreds of other human rights activists with the Freedom Flotilla Coalition are due to set sail. It's like the Love Boat, except it's the hate boat, on multiple vessels in mid-April to carry 5,500 tons of aid for Gaza. You know that they hang lesbians from anything that the colonialists left behind there. You should go ashore and see if they embrace you with open arms. You really should. And right, Medea Benjamin, I want to contribute $5 to your cause. It'll help buy some gas or something. They're bringing aid to the terrorists in the name of liberalism and anti-Semitism. It's the Democrat Party. Isn't Code Pink, because some people are saying Code Pink is just a left-wing, radical, anti-American, anti-war thing, but they do all this LGBTQ stuff, too. I think plus, not just. Yeah, they fight for a gay military and all that stuff. They're not on our side. They should, and they're bringing tons of what they call relief aid to Hamas, which is a genocidal terror group, because they love genocide and terror. 5,500 tons of aid. Now, where did Ann Wright and Medea Benjamin get 5,500 tons of aid for Gaza and the ships, the Freedom Flotilla Coalition? We should have them sail by the Houthis. Huh? I know that the Houthis, Yemen's not on the way to the Eastern Mediterranean, but we should have them sail by the Houthis anyway. I think the Houthis would like to meet them. Do you prefer Houthi or Houthi? I like the, too. That's more like the English language. I don't like that Hoot-he, and not Houthi. It's Houthi. That's what a TH is. It's a thi. Got that. Yeah, so they're going to bring tons and tons of aid on multiple ships, they say, to the terrorists who are the enemies of civilization and genocidal anti-Semites. They're the useful idiots of the global jihad. Yes, sir. And they say they're going to challenge Israel's illegal blockade of Gaza. They don't like rockets and weapons being brought in from Iran that are then used to kill their children. So, they provide the terrorists with food and electricity and fresh water that they can drink because after thousands of years, they're not capable of providing their own population with drinking water. So Israel has to do it for them. And electricity, forget about it. Come on, what are they going to do there? Have 1,000 kids on bicycles pedaling away to give them electricity? Don't be ridiculous. Womp, womp, womp. Yeah, it's Israeli policies that cause all their problems. Sure, Well, that's not what the son of the founder of Hamas says. But, these are American liberals. They know better than everyone else, right? Yes, sir. And I got to tell you, if you're going to sign up for one of these humanitarian groups that's going to feed the terrorists, well, you roll the dice, you take your chances. That's the thing about that. Hey, what are you doing? Oh, I'm packing a bag because I'm going to serve gourmet meals to Hamas. Really? Do you think they appreciate gourmet meals? Are they going to be gourmet shawarmas? Because I love a delicious shawarma. Shawarmas. Love those. First discovered those in Saudi Arabia. Delicious. Yeah, there's some places in Washington where you can get great shawarmas too. They're very, very good. Speaking of free press, do we have a free press? Kinda. Free but corrupt. A little bit different. So the U.S. Congress, we have Republicans in charge of the House of Representatives and the Lizard King, and Democrats in charge of the United States Senate. And that's where everything really screws up, if you're in favor of civilization. But the House Republican Judiciary Subcommittee on the Constitution and Limited Government, that's a good idea. The Constitution and Limited Government, I'm in favor of that. We'll hold a hearing on Thursday, April 11th. That's next week, as you might know, at 9:30 a.m. And the subject is Fighting for a Free Press, Protecting Journalists and Their Sources. That sounds like probably a pretty good idea most of the time. And it will look at the federal government's infringement on the First Amendment's guarantee of freedom of the press, as well as federal shield law proposals. And the Judiciary Committee on the thing is going to be in the House of Representatives. And Catherine Herridge, formerly of Fox News and then formerly of CBS News. You remember they stole her computers and her laptops and were going through to see if she was investigating Democrats because CBS wanted to hit her in the back of the head with a shovel, like at the end of the remake of that part 2 of Psycho. Oh, yeah, speaking of which, what are we going to call March 31st? I was calling it Anthony Perkins Day yesterday, but really we need to call it Norman Bates Day. Norman Bates Day. That's what our brilliant listeners got in and said, hey, dummy, it's Norman Bates Day. Norman Bates Day, Bates Motel. March 31st, all the Democrats dress like their mothers and murder people. That was the sound of the shovel hitting the back of the head. And we pulled that audio long ago. Isn't that great? Yes, it is. Catherine Herridge will be investigative journalist, now no longer with CBS News or Fox News. But did I hear she's going someplace? I heard that she's going someplace. Catherine Herridge, investigative journalist, would be testifying under oath. Cheryl Atkinson, the great Cheryl Atkinson, investigative journalist, and she has her own wonderful show on Sinclair, Full Measure. It's on weekends. I believe it's on Sunday morning, maybe Saturday morning. I DVR it every week. And Cheryl Atkinson is just great. She's wonderful. Also, formerly of CBS News. You want to do journalism, you got to leave CBS News. It's like me. I wanted to do journalism. I had to leave CNN. This has been going on for a long time now. If you really believe in journalism, you can't work at any of these corporate outfits because they're not on the side of journalism or truth. They are shills for the Democrat Party, corrupt front groups for the Democrat Party, and that's a tragic reality, but a reality nonetheless. They're also going to have Mary Cavallaro. Mary Cavallaro is the chief broadcast officer for SAG-AFTRA, the Screen Actors Guild, and AFTRA, American Federation, all the television and radio, all that. I'm actually a member of SAG-AFTRA myself, and I'm happy about that. It's a good organization, most of the time, a great organization. But she is the chief broadcast officer for SAG-AFTRA News and Broadcast Department, and she'll be testifying under oath as well. So we have that going for us. Now, we did this fun story on my television show last night as well on Newsmax, TV, 10 p.m. Eastern. That's 7 p.m. on the West Coast. The Independent out of the United Kingdom. The headline is, How Climate Change is Hitting Vulnerable Indonesian Transgender Sex Workers. That is the euphemism for prostitutes. And transgender means men masquerading as women working as prostitutes in Indonesia. And it is a crisis because climate change is affecting the business goals of transgender prostitutes in Indonesia.
This is for real. It is not made up.
That's right. He knows. And what did he want? He wanted his chakra released. He wanted his chakra.
Prostitute.
Wanted his chakra released. So this is your Democrat Party. They're not well at all. They're very, very unwell. It's an amazing story. How climate change is hitting vulnerable. We're concerned about their vulnerability. Indonesian trans sex workers. Nearly 93% of respondents saw decreased income during the rainy season. This is journalism on Planet Earth today. Just amazing stuff, honestly. The study was, they've got a study because there's always got to be a study, usually from a university, but study out of the University of Adelaide in Australia says changing weather patterns induced by climate change, naturally, are contributing to shifts in the location of terrorist activity. And this is a problem, too. This study out of Adelaide says that terrorists are having to deal with climate change by moving the locations of their training camps, where they train to kill people, because that's a major concern. And then climate change has claimed yet another victim, transgender sex workers, meaning tranny prostitutes. One transgender streetwalker explains, no one is coming out during the longer rainy season, so it's very hard to make money during that unpredictable weather. What about the straight prostitute? Are there any straight prostitutes and street-walking prostitutes in Indonesia that the study wants to concern itself with? Because that's pretty demented stuff.
The earth is on fire, and we're all going to die soon.
Yeah, especially if you're a transgender Indonesian street prostitute, thinking your future is not as bright as it ought to be. Just saying. But the Democrats are here to back you up, and just amazing. Trans women, meaning men, like Patia, are among the most affected by extreme weather linked to climate change. You know, there has always been a rainy season. It's the Pacific Ocean. It's the Indonesia. I've been to Indonesia, Jakarta. I have some great blow dart guns at home from Indonesia, made of bone. They told me human bone, but I'm not sure. They're like dragon heads and blow darts. You could blow darts through them, and they're quite lethal. It's a dangerous thing. Indonesia. Yes, sir. And some masks. I have a couple of masks from Indonesia as well, in addition to the blow dart guns, but never mind that. I did not avail myself of the transgender street prostitutes. I guess I could have assumed that they were transgender, but clean as a whistle. I'm pointing my thumb at my chest like this. Clean as a whistle, this guy.
We're screwed. Just walk outside in winter in a lot of places, and it's either way worse than you're used to or way warmer than you're used to. Yeah,
either way, it's bad. They're just never going to be happy, you know. It's the old saying. That was AOC, of course. It's the old saying, they're not happy unless they're not happy. They have to be unhappy in order to be happy. Just amazing people. All right. Speaking of liars, let's go back to Cobble Kirby. We left off with Cobble Kirby back there. Wanted to squeeze in a couple of additional stories because they're fun. You know, Democrats are worried that climate change is negatively impacting transgender prostitutes on the streets of Indonesian cities and beach resorts because they're not well, honestly. All right. Also, did you see that we did this on my television show last night on Newsmax as well? There is a new Biden administration Health and Human Services program. They've awarded $400,000 to Chicago's American Indian Health Service. American Indian Health Service, you know why? To investigate whether Native American rituals might help with diabetes. When they say Native American rituals, they mean communal song, dance, a little seltzer down your pants. Honestly, they say, I'm not making this up, and they say that they want to help Native Americans with this study going to a Chicago Native American Health Service, $400,000 of our dollars, because traditional ceremonies are integral to the emotional and mental well-being of Native people, but not Democrats. Yet such potential is unknown to Western medicine. So honestly, they're thinking like Krusty the Clown is going to have, it's just amazing, the cure for diabetes. Native Americans have the highest diabetes rates in the country. And so they're going to pay him $400,000 to dance and sing and see if that helps with diabetes. Right. The Democrat Party has lost its ever-loving mind. Completely nuts. They, hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? I wonder, I was wondering, do you think Elizabeth Warren is diabetic? Because, of her high cheekbones and stuff, she might be diabetic, and that could be an issue. I keep running out the clock on myself, don't I? I see a phone call that we should take because it's kind of apropos. It's appropriate of where we are in the course of our discussion. Let's go to Dave, calling from Falls Church, Virginia. David, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Chris, thank you very much. I've got the perfect gift that you could make to Code Pink traveling to the Middle East. You could gift them with Memorial Goat Ranch in Your Pants gift packages.
Say goat, what in your pants?
Goat Ranch in Your Pants, one of your famous lines from a couple years ago. Goat Ranch in Your Pants, right? Goat Ranch in Your Pants. They're gonna, if they go ashore, they might find themselves dangling from the highest yardarm. But these people are unwell, aren't they, David? Well, they are, and like I mentioned, your call screener, they're just more and more gravitating into collective mental illness. So wherever you look at it, and it reminds me, you probably read the great nonfiction work by the late P.J. O'Rourke, Holidays in Hell, where everything is just mad, and you look at the Democrat Party was hijacked, as we all know, is hijacked years ago, 2 or 3 decades ago, and now everything is anti-American and right out of George Orwell's 1984. You are 100% correct, and you're right that they were hijacked decades ago as well. And yeah, I see these crazy Code Pink. These are the people that interrupt congressional hearings and scream and yell and wear funny pink hats, and because they didn't originate the famous pink hat, but they've been wearing pink and disrupting. They started, they said, as an anti-war, pro-peace group of women, right? And now they're just every crazy left-wing, radical extremist, LGBTQ, pro-Hamas, anti-Israel cause, and bringing, they say, thousands of tons of supplies to the genocidal terrorist army known as Hamas. And gosh, I sure hope they make it to shore safely. I'd hate to see anything happen to them before they're hanged by Hamas, for bringing them stuff. This is the Democrat Party. And Dave, you're right, they're hijacked and they have descended. They were hijacked and they're descended into mental illness. I'm expecting sort of a massive Jonestown event any day now from the Democrat Party, lining up for Kool-Aid or
fentanyl or whatever it is they're going to line up for this time. They need help. I thought Obamacare was supposed to provide them with all the mental health care they needed. I don't think it worked. You know, we've got it's a big eclipse. That's on Monday, right? And that's, now we got an earthquake in New York. Got a friend who is in New Jersey, as a matter of fact, visiting family. And he said, hey, he just texted a while ago. So we had a 4.7 earthquake, you know, with the eclipse coming up. This is clearly the beginning of the apocalypse. You know, there's a lot of talk. He's kidding. He's being tongue-in-cheek. The April 8th eclipse, and everybody's so bent out of shape. We had one not too many years ago. My best girl and I were out on our balcony with our eclipse sunglasses on, and it was fun. It was no big deal. But now they're saying, oh, yeah, this is going to be passing over these. Of course, it's going to be passing over all these towns in the United States. It's a solar eclipse, you know. Oh, you can see it better here. Yeah, wherever you are, it's the moon coming in front of the sun. You're going to be able to see it. Don't look right at it, though. But lots of stuff. What does the Bible say about the April 8th eclipse? Well, after the earthquake today, first an earthquake, then an eclipse. The Democrats are pro-Hamas. Our border is open. Apocalypse now, man. Have a great American weekend.